When I'm out and about in my normal life and people ask me what I do for a living, after I tell them that I'm a consultant for EV charging projects, they'll usually ask me, "Oh, really? Well, how much do EV chargers cost?" But the thing is that the EV chargers are actually the least expensive part of the entire EV charging project. So today, I'll break down the 5 major costs of installing EV chargers at any location. But first, if you're wondering who I am, my name's Trevor and I helped launch 2 successful EV charging startups. And if you're looking for pricing for anything to do with EV charging, I'd be happy to send over a free quote. For condos or strata, this could be rough project pricing, EV ready plans, electrical planning reports, or just general advice and information. For entrepreneurs, this could be consulting for starting your own EV charging business, which hardware suppliers to use, and the best software to go for. My email is contact@strongenergy-ev.com. I've also created some resources that you can download, which will help you save time and money on any EV charging project. So keep an eye out for those in the links below. They're cleaning the windows outside my building, so hopefully it's not too loud and distracting, but let's just push through. So as I said, the chargers themselves are actually the least expensive part of the project. For level 2 chargers, you can get them as cheap as like $500 on Amazon, but they can also go up to 4,500 or even 5 grand if you're ordering from the top quality from manufacturers, let's say in Switzerland. If these chargers are for public use and a lot of people will be using them, then I'd recommend spending at least $1,000 on these EV chargers. You'll want to make sure that they're smart chargers with networking capabilities and they're OCPP compliant. Cheap chargers will work fine at home, but if they're going to be in public for everybody to use, then reliability is crucial. The second biggest part of an EV charging project is the install, and this is by far the most expensive part. This includes running all the wiring and the conduit from the chargers to the electrical room, and the further away your electrical room is, the more expensive this part will be. You'll often have to core through walls or sometimes dig up concrete, so having the chargers as close to the electrical room will help reduce the costs by quite a bit. Another part to this is enough room on your electrical panel. So these EV chargers will need their own dedicated circuit, and if you don't have any extra spots on the panel, then you might have to install what's called a sub panel, which will also add to the cost of the install. There are lots of components to the install, but another part to look out for is the building permits. So the city is going to make sure that you have to pay the permits to get the green light to do some of this work. And the electrician will usually take care of this for you, but it will be built into the cost of the install. But yeah, when it comes to the install, the labor hours add up so quickly. So the more complicated your project is, the longer that these electricians and tradespeople will need to spend on site, which will just keep adding up and increase the cost of the install. All right, number 3 on the list of the major costs of installing EV chargers, and this is the electrical service upgrade. Now, I said the install would be the most expensive part, but if you need to get an electrical service upgrade, this might be the most expensive part. You'll need to get this if your building doesn't have enough power. So if you're only installing like 2 to 4 chargers, then you'll probably be fine with the power that you already have in the building. For commercial buildings, it's usually 208 volt 3-phase, so a few chargers is usually fine. But if you're looking to install, let's say 10 chargers or more, then you might need to do an electrical service upgrade. And let's just say that this will cost more than you're going to want to pay. All right, the fourth major cost to installing level 2 EV chargers, we're going to put into a category called startup. Now, in this category, it's just a bunch of the minor things that are involved with getting the EV chargers started up. Some of these include commissioning the chargers, mounting the chargers, networking the chargers, which means wiring them, testing them, and making sure that they're connected to the internet and working properly. In this category, I'm including networking, which has to do with the software and will actually be a monthly fee. And it's usually between, let's say, $25 and $75. This money is going to the software company to make sure that you can process all the payments and monitor the chargers on the back end. This is basically the app. And number 5 is aesthetics. And this one's optional, but it'll definitely make a big impact if you have some extra money to invest. And the main things that come to mind for this is painting and signage. So if you have EV chargers placed in a stall, it's always helpful if you paint the stalls a certain color to represent the EV chargers. And usually this is green. You could also put your logo on it and maybe some signage to bring clients to the chargers, as well as some of the payment processing steps and how to use the chargers. You could also just call this branding, and it will help enhance your customer's experience. Again, if you need help or any more advice on this, feel free to give me a shout. My email is in the description below. And as always, I'd love if you were to subscribe and keep following the journey. Thanks so much for checking in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.